This video has been prepared by FSU College of Law students under the supervision of licensed attorneys. It is intended to provide legal education only. The students are not attorneys, and the information provided does not constitute legal advice. We hope this information is helpful.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. My name is Professor Darby Kerrigan Scott. I am the professor who is the director of the COVID-19 Veterans Legal Clinic, and I have the pleasure of team teaching this clinic with Professor Jamie Braun. So I will turn it over to her to introduce herself. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamie Braun, and as Professor Scott said, I am co-teaching the Veterans COVID-19 Legal Clinic this semester at FSU College of Law. And now I'm going to turn it over to two of our students who are going to talk a little bit about housing issues and landlord-tenant issues that have come up during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abby, and my partner is Alyssa, and we're going over the tenant rights of veterans during this COVID-19 crisis, and we're both FSU College of Law students. Just a little bit about each of us. Like I said, I'm Abby. My last name is Brinkman. I'm actually a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps, and I'm also a third-year law student at FSU.
Hello, my name is Alyssa, and I'm a second-year law student at FSU Law.
So, are you a veteran, or does your organization help veterans? And have any of them had any issues, whether they've lost their job, they've had their wages decreased, like they have their own business, so they're not getting the business they normally do, so they're not getting as much income, and they're having trouble paying their rent or their mortgage. And the main thing is, have they been negatively impacted by COVID-19? Some specific tenant issues that we at the FSU Legal COVID Clinic can help those people with is eviction, if they have a failure to pay their rent or their mortgage, and it's due to job loss or loss of wages due to the COVID-19 pandemic, then we can help. And so we're going to kind of just get into how we can assist you guys. And if you are facing this, either eviction or foreclosure on your home, what steps are there to protect you right now, either from the state of Florida or on the national level. So this is the Florida statewide moratorium. There's a lot of words on this slide. We'll break this down much easier on the next few slides after this, and how this will either impact you directly or someone that your organization helps. So this Florida statewide moratorium went into effect on July 29th, and it protects residential tenants and single-family homeowners. And the main part of this is you're facing eviction or foreclosure, and you are unable to pay your rent or mortgage due to some monetary loss from COVID-19. So what does this mean in general? So basically this means that the eviction or foreclosure cases may still be filed against you in the court, and they can proceed through the court process, but the final orders, so the final order of eviction or the conclusion of your foreclosure, will not occur until October 1st. Now, we understand this is right around the corner. So as of right now, we're unsure if that's going to get extended by our governor. But if it doesn't, we'll get into later in the presentation what happens if this order is not extended. But for the next few days, it's still into effect. So while this process may start, you will have the opportunity to show how you were negatively impacted by COVID-19. Like we mentioned earlier, you lost your job, or even if you are employed, but your wages have been reduced enough that it's impacting your ability to make payments, as long as it's COVID-19 related and we can make that argument, then you have an opportunity to prevent that defense to the court. One thing we really want to stress is this does not forgive or cancel your payments. So you'll still owe your rent. If you owe $800 a month, you're still going to owe that $800 a month, and it will accrue with interest, and it will be due at the end of this. But there are different organizations that will help you if you're in a financial crisis where you need some help with that. And we can point you in that direction as well. So what does this mean for you or for anyone your organization may be serving or assisting with? So we're going to go through 5 steps. So we'll go over the eviction process. We'll review how the courts are hearing cases, your right to your legal defense, how you can go about obtaining legal representation, and then how this impacts home mortgages. So the eviction process in Florida, the first thing is your tenant gets a written notice to move out. And so you're also served with legal paperwork. So this typically is a summons and a complaint, and the papers must be delivered by a sheriff or an other authorized process server. So the tenant is allowed to respond. And this is the main aspect, is number 3 that we're going to be focusing on here. So the court can grant or deny the eviction through a hearing. And then the last one is a writ of possession is posted if the courts grant the eviction. So we just want to stress the major point out of this is your landlord is never allowed to evict you without a court order. So if your landlord tells you to leave your home before a judge orders you to, you do not have to move out. So if they say, hey, you have to be out in 3 days, but you've not been served with any paperwork, you haven't gone to court, this is the first you're hearing about it, you don't need to listen to them, basically. So like I mentioned, courts have started hearing the cases, but if your landlord files that case against you, you'll have the chance in court to defend yourself. So when it comes to the defense, the main thing that you need to be able to show is that you've been adversely impacted by COVID-19. Again, like I said, you lost your job, you're bringing in less wages than you normally do, even if you're self-employed and you own a landscaping business and you haven't really been able to get any work because everyone's home and they're mowing their own lawns. If you can show you've been negatively impacted, this is something that you can bring to court in the defense. The big timeline here you really need to keep in mind is once you receive your papers from the court. So they say, hey, your landlord has filed an eviction case against you. What do you do now? You have 5 days to tell the court about your defense in writing. So you only have 5 days to make that defense in court. So what you can do, you can contact an attorney or the Veterans COVID-19 FSU clinic immediately if your landlord has filed an eviction case against you. And we stress immediately because it is 5 days. For home mortgages, we just want to point out that Florida moratorium does cover this. You cannot lose your home to foreclosure. So again, it's kind of like the evictions. It can go through the process of foreclosure, but the final order will not take place until September 30th unless it's extended. So we would like to remember this Florida executive order is only into effect until September 30th, but the Center for Disease Control, or the CDC, has recently issued an order that prohibits evictions nationwide until the end of this year. So until December 31st, 2020, specifically due to the COVID-19 emergency. So my partner Alyssa is going to kind of break down the CDC order for you because this will be going into effect October 1st if the Florida one is not extended.
So like my partner Abby just mentioned, the nationwide CDC moratorium is not an automatic protection, and there is a little bit more eligibility requirements to receive this. So each adult in the household must submit a declaration in order to be eligible under the criteria. And this does not apply to homeowners, and it only applies to failure to pay rent. So these are the eligible requirements for the CDC moratorium. You have to put your best efforts forward to gain all government assistance that you could possibly have for paying rent. You have to earn no more than $99,000 in your annual income for 2020, but you do not have to be required to file taxes in 2019 or have had to receive a stimulus check. If you're unable to pay your full rent, you must have proven you put your best effort forward to pay whatever you could, partial payments, for example. And this is only due to loss of wages and your household loss of compensation or a layoff or other out-of-pocket expenses that you might have occurred during COVID-19 pandemic. And you also have to prove that this eviction would leave you homeless if you were to be evicted from your current residence. So once you determine that you are eligible for the CDC moratorium, these are the steps you have to take to process your declaration. You have to download the declaration at this website that we provided here, and every adult has to fill out this document. You have to provide a copy to your landlord and the owner. And you're still required to pay the rent on your lease and follow the terms of your lease. because you can still be evicted for other reasons other than for not payment, like following rules of your rent, for example. So this does not cancel your payments, just like the Florida moratorium does not. You will still be owed rent to your landlord at the end of the year once this expires, but it is just until the December 31st. So frequently asked questions. Do you need to pay your rent? Yes, so eventually you will still owe all the money that you have backed when the orders have expired, either the Florida one or the CDC federal moratorium.
So what if Florida does not renew their moratorium? So we kind of went over this. Florida's expires September 30th. So if they don't renew, the CDC moratorium will take into effect and goes until December 31st.
Can you be evicted for other reasons if you break on your lease? Yes, so the moratorium only protects you from being evicted for financial reasons due to COVID-19 pandemic.
And finally, does these include mortgage payments? So the answer to this is tricky. It's yes and no. Yes, the Florida one protects from foreclosure if you fail to pay your mortgage. However, the CDC national one does not. So as of right now, mortgages are only protected and covered until the end of September. And we're kind of waiting to see what happens there. But if it doesn't get extended, the mortgage is no longer protected. So if you feel like that you or any of your people you may be serving through your organization would be able to get some help from FSU Law COVID-19 Clinic, we do address other matters besides just areas of housing. We also cover consumer rights, stimulus check assistance, unemployment compensation benefits, and SNAP benefits or food stamps. And everyone that is in this clinic are second or third year law students who are enrolled, and we're all under the supervision of licensed attorneys. So any veteran who resides in the Second Judicial Circuit, and that includes Franklin, Gaston, Jefferson, Leon, Liberty, and Recullo counties, is interested, feel free to have them call the FSU Law COVID-19 Legal Clinic at 850-644-9928, or they can email at pilk@law.fsu.edu. Financial qualifications do apply, but we recommend everyone just reach out and see if you're eligible, and then we'll go from there. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, seeing none, well, we thank you guys for joining us today, and feel free to reach out. Like I said, the contact information is posted in the PowerPoint slides.
Thank you, Abby and Alyssa. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
The Public Interest Law Center provides limited legal services, but if you would like to have your legal issue considered, please email us at pilc@law.fsu.edu.